7. The American Dream. Have you ever dreamed of riding in a car that's longer than a blue whale, with more wheels than a centipede, and more amenities than a 5-star hotel? Well, you're in luck, because it actually exists, and it's a limo called the American Dream. The American Dream is the brainchild of Jay Ohrberg, a legendary car creator who built iconic vehicles for movies like Knight Rider and even Back to the Future. He wanted to make the ultimate limo that would impress the world with both its size and style, and boy did he succeed. The American Dream is over 100 feet long, making it the world's longest car according to Guinness World Records. It has 26 wheels, 2 engines, and a hinge in the center to help it navigate tough turns. But that's not all. It also has a helipad, a swimming pool, a hot tub, a waterbed, and a mini golf course all on board. Yeah, you read that right. You can land a helicopter on this thing, take a dip, sleep on a soft bed, and play some golf all in one limo. It was once a star of the silver screen and the red carpet, making appearances in movies and all kinds of events. But sadly, it was forgotten and left to rot in a warehouse for years on end. Luckily, 2 car lovers named Michael Deezer and Michael Manning rescued it and restored it back to its former glory. They spent about 10 years and a lot of money to fix the engines, remove all the rust, and rebuild the interior. The limo is now fully functional and can fit more than 75 people inside at once. So, if you ever want to experience the American Dream for yourself, you know where to find it. Just make sure you have enough space to park it. 6. Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Goldwing. The Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Goldwing is one of the most iconic and sought-after cars ever made. It was produced between 1954 and 1957 and featured a distinct design with upward-opening doors, a tubular chassis, and a fuel-injected engine. Only 1,400 units were made in total, making it a rare and valuable collector's item for vehicle enthusiasts. Sadly, not all of them were treated with respect. In 2018, a 300 SL Goldwing was found in a storage unit in Jacksonville, Florida, where it had been sitting for over 40 years. The car belonged to a soldier who bought it in Germany during the 1950s. He drove it for a few years before forgetting about it. The car was in bad shape when it was rediscovered. It was covered in dust and dirt, had flat tires, missing parts, and a damaged interior. It was estimated to be worth around $800,000 even in that condition, but could fetch up to $2 million if restored. The car was eventually sold at an auction to a buyer who planned to restore it to its former glory. It was a rare opportunity to own a piece of automotive history. The car was a testament to the beauty and engineering of the 300 SL Goldwing, as well as the neglect and carelessness of its past owner. 5. Ferrari F40. Imagine finding a Ferrari F40, one of the most famous supercars ever made, abandoned in a random field in Iraq. That's what happened in 2013, when a photo of a dusty F40 went viral on the internet. The F40 was built from 1987 to 1992 to mark Ferrari's 40th anniversary and to compete with the popular Porsche 959. It was the last car that Enzo Ferrari personally approved before he passed away in 1988. It had a twin turbocharged V8 engine and could reach a top speed of 201 miles per hour. Only 1,311 units were made, making it a tough find. But the viral F40 had a different fate. It belongs to the son of Saddam Hussein, who escaped Iraq during the Gulf War in 1991 and left the car behind. It was confiscated by the Iraqi government and stored in a warehouse for years before being moved to the field. The car was in terrible condition. It was covered in dirt, had flat tires, cracked windows, missing parts, and more. The Ferrari was sold to an anonymous buyer with restoration plans in mind. What's your dream car? Why do you like it so much? Let us know in the comments down below, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this video so far and would like to see more. 4. The Aston Martin DB4. The DB4 is a classic sports car that was built by the British manufacturer Aston Martin from 1958 to 1963. It was the first car to reach 0 to 100 miles per hour in less than 30 seconds and had a luxurious interior. But not all DB4s were treated with the respect and care they needed. Some of them were left to rot in barns or woods for decades, eventually losing their value and beauty. One example is a 1962 Aston Martin DB4 that was abandoned inside a barn near New York for more than 30 years. The car was originally owned by the manager of a body shop who gave it to one of his employees as a gift. The employee had plans to restore the car but never actually got around to it. Instead, he parked it in a barn where it was left exposed to dust, rust, and decay. The car was later listed on eBay for $325,000 despite its poor condition. Another case is a 1960 Aston Martin DB4 that was spotted in the woods of Massachusetts after 40 years. The car was registered in 1961 and left outside the owner's home in the forest, where it was covered by leaves and dirt over time. It suffered from severe damage and deterioration but still retained some of its original features. This DB4 was sold at an auction for $374,000 in 2017. These two examples show how some Aston Martin DB4s were neglected and forgotten by their owners, who failed to appreciate their rarity. These cars could have been worth millions if they were restored and maintained properly. A restored original 1962 Aston Martin DB4 GT sold for $9.52 million in an auction back in 2021. These cars are valuable not only for their performance and style, but also for their rich history. They deserve to be preserved and cherished by collectors and enthusiasts who can fully appreciate their significance. 3. Into the Wild Bus. This bus was a lonely relic of a forgotten era, abandoned in the wilderness of Alaska. It once served as a shelter for construction workers who built a road in the 1940s, but was left behind when the project was finished. For decades, it stood rusting, surrounded by snow and trees, bearing witness to the changing seasons and the passage of time. Then, in 1992, a young man named Christopher McCandless stumbled upon the bus while looking for adventure. He'd given up his comfy life and traveled across the country with nothing but a backpack and a dream. He wanted to live completely off the land, to experience nature in its rawest form, and to find himself spiritually. He thought he found his paradise in the bus, which he nicknamed the Magic Bus. He wrote in his journal, "For 2 years he walked the earth. No phone, no pool, no pets, and no cigarettes. Ultimate freedom, an extremist, an aesthetic voyager whose home is the road." But his dream quickly turned into a nightmare. He realized when it was already too late that he was trapped by the unforgiving environment and that he underestimated the dangers of living in the wild. He ran out of food and soon became sick. He tried to return to civilization, but found his way blocked off by a raging river. So, Christopher wrote a desperate SOS note on the bus door, hoping that someone would rescue him. But no one came. He sadly died alone in the bus at the age of 24. His story was told in a book and a movie, which made him famous and inspired many people to follow in his ambitious footsteps. They saw him as a hero, a rebel, and a martyr. They wanted to see the bus for themselves, to pay tribute to him and feel what he felt, but some of them never made it back. They faced the same dangers that he did, some worse. The bus became a symbol of tragedy and death. Law enforcement since decided to remove it from its original location in 2020 as a public safety measure. They airlifted it by helicopter to a secure place. The bus left behind its home in the wild, where it witnessed so much joy and pain, life and death. 2. Collier Motors, the ultimate AMC graveyard. Have you ever wondered what happened to all the cars from the 1960s and 1970s? You know, the AMC ones that look like they were built by a mad scientist on a caffeine high. Well, wonder no more, because we found the ultimate AMC graveyard located in Pikeville, North Carolina. The site is called Collier Motors, and it's truly a sight to behold. Collier Motors was once a thriving dealership that exclusively sold AMC cars. AMC, or American Motors Corporation, was a company that made some of the quirkiest and innovative cars of the time, like the Gremlin, the Pacer, the Matador, and the Javelin. They were known for their bold style, their unconventional features, and low prices. They also had a loyal fan base that appreciated their distinct personality. But AMC's glory days didn't last. In 1987, the company was bought out by Chrysler, which decided to phase out the AMC brand and focus more on Jeep and Eagle. Many AMC dealerships closed down or switched brands, but not Collier Motors. The owner, Robert Collier Jr., refused to give up on the AMCs. He kept buying and selling them until his death in 2003. He also got his hands on a huge collection of AMC cars that he stored on his expansive property. Today, Collier Motors is like a museum. There are over 300 cars on display, ranging from pristine models to rusty wrecks. Some of them are rare and valuable, like a Nash Healey Le Mans Coupe, a Rambler Marlin Fastback, and a Rebel Machine muscle car. Others are more common, such as Hornets, Ambassadors, and Spirits. But they all have one thing in common: they're all AMC cars. Collier Motors is not open to the public, but you can still see the cars from the road. You can also contact the current owner, Eddie Collier, who inherited the collection from his late father. He might let you take a look at the cars or even buy one if you're interested. But be warned, he is very attached to the cars and he won't sell them cheap. Collier Motors is a testament to one man's passion and dedication to a brand that most people have forgotten about. It's also a treasure trove of automotive history that deserves to be preserved. If you're ever in North Carolina and you love AMC cars or just strange cars in general, you should definitely check out Collier Motors. 1. Lady Be Good. Lady Be Good was a B-24D Liberator bomber that flew during World War II on April 4, 1943. The plane and its 9-man crew were part of the 376th Bombardment Group for the US Army Air Forces, based in Libya. The main target of their first and last mission was the harbor of Naples, Italy, which they were supposed to bomb in a 2-wave attack, but things went wrong on their way back to their base. The plane lost contact with the other bombers and flew straight over its destination during a sandstorm. The crew didn't realize they overshot their base until it was already too late. They ran out of fuel and had to bail out over the Libyan desert, forcing the plane to crash land by itself. The crew managed to survive the parachute jump, but faced a harsh and unforgiving environment. They had little water, food, or equipment, and had no idea where they were or even how to get help. Ultimately, they decided to walk north, hoping to find civilization, but they only found more sand and scorching heat. One by one, they gave in to exhaustion, dehydration, and exposure. The last survivor, flight engineer Harold Ripslinger, walked about 120 miles from the crash site before he passed away. His remains were found in 1960, along with those of 7 other crew members. The 9th member, gunner Vernon Moore, was never found. The plane itself was discovered by chance in 1958 by a British oil exploration team. It was remarkably well preserved thanks to the dry desert conditions. It still had its machine guns, bombs, radio equipment, and personal belongings from the crew. It became a curiosity for visitors and scavengers until it was relocated to a Libyan Air Force base in 1994. Lady Be Good and its crew are a tragic example of the dangers and sacrifices involved with war. Their story is a testament to their courage and endurance in the face of impossible odds. That's all for today, guys. We hope you like these incredible abandoned vehicles. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more videos like this. And let us know in the comments which vehicle was your favorite and why. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!